Hey folks, welcome back to the mountains of Vermont. My name is Brad, and the day has just begun and I'm already out of breath from hiking up this, well, it's a four-wheeler trail now, but it appears to have been an old road, probably from the early 1800s. The landowner of this property, who invited me here today to do some metal detecting, told me if I hike up about a half a mile and then kick off into the woods, I should find an old stone-lined foundation of an old home. I think it's supposed to flatten out up here. Then we'll head off through the woods and see what we can find. All right, we made it. It did flatten out, although I'm still out of breath. Still a bit of a hike. And the stone-lined foundation is right over here, although the landowner specifically asked me not to show it in the video for whatever reason. But it's fine. It's a square hole lined with stones, much like the foundations we see in most of my videos. The story behind this place, as far as we can tell, the first inhabitant, mid-1800s, was a woodworker. The records say woodworker. We're not sure what that means. He was a furniture maker or a sleigh maker, and it has been uninhabited since the early 1900s. It was abandoned. We're gonna get our gear out, see what we can find. Hopefully, some treasure. Well, I don't know for sure if that's what it is, but I'm pretty sure that is a bell. You know, I can't tell if it's broken or not, or if it's complete. I'm hoping it feels complete. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Incredible. A big ol', probably bronze bell. It's a real white material. I think it's just the way I wiped it. I thought maybe it was spun on a lathe, but I guess it's probably more likely cast. So cool. You can see that the iron chain, there's some remnants of it there. And this was more than likely on a sleigh up here in the mountains of Vermont. These would have hung under the, the two shafts that go up to the animal. They would have jingle-jangled as they rode along in their sleigh. I'm always amazed about how many of these we find. Obviously we find them easily because they're such a loud target for the metal detector to find, but just how many of them were lost. I guess, you rub up against them branches or something and they just get ripped off of the sleigh. I'm starting to get a pretty good collection of bells now. All right, well, we have kind of a common find here for sites from, the middle of the 1800s. I fall into the trap of, watching other people's YouTube videos, metal detecting, finding things like this, and they call it something, and then I, don't do my research, and I just kind of parrot it. And I've always called these things parasol sliders, like umbrella sliders. I've thought over the years, it seems so unlikely that all of these people were carrying around umbrellas. We find one or two of these things, like at every home. And I got called out. I got an email. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. And she said, "Are you sure that those things are parasol sliders or umbrella sliders?" And I said, "You know what? I am not sure." So I did some research, and come to find out, these things are actually parasol sliders. That's exactly what they are. I found some patent pictures from back in the 1800s. That's certainly what this is, and one umbrella would have several of these to make the mechanism work. You can see this one actually isn't a slider. There's a pin through. This was stuck at the top, probably like this. I actually think there was another one on top in the opposite orientation. Umbrella sliders, that's what it is. I confirmed it. Now I can confidently say that's what this is. All right, well, I just got a little button here, and it's not like one I've seen before. I can't tell if it's old. I think it is, but it reminds me a lot of like a modern blue jeans button, but I'm confident that's not what this is. Can you make that out? UTC. It's a two-piece button. I don't think there's going to be a back mark. Big, bold letters, UTC. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some more research on this one. Hopefully I can figure something out. It seems unlikely this is modern given where we are. If I had to guess just by the construction, I would guess you know, middle 1800s, Civil War era. Is this a Civil War button? I don't know. It's the best find of the day so far, though. Awesome. Well, I did not find this with a metal detector. I just spotted it. Hard to miss, bright green, but well, we know what this is. Looks like it's probably from this year. It is actually white-tailed deer bow season right now, and will be for a couple more weeks until it's rifle season, and then I'll start wearing some orange. But the landowners assured me there wouldn't be anybody hunting out here on their land today, which is why I'm not wearing any orange right now. Although I'm assuming this is theirs. Suppose it could have been from a trespasser. Hopefully not today. I'll bring this out with me just in case. It does belong to them. Let's see what else we can find in the ground. I got something kind of cool here. I actually have been cleaning it off for a little while. When I first found it, I thought that it was something modern, like electrical. But now that I've been staring at it for a while, I'm fairly confident this is old. I think that it's probably like a clothing clip, like a suspender, which clasps, you know, like that. Never really seen one quite like it, which is always exciting for me. You know, I find sometimes 3 or 4 suspenders at a place like this, but never anything quite like this. I might be wrong. It might be, I don't know, something completely unrelated, but I think that's what it is probably. Close clip. Still moves. I haven't broken it. Okay, well, I just got a pretty good target. It's very wet down here. I'm kind of in a little low spot. And I thought it was going to be a coin, and it's not. But the thing that it is just as interesting, in my opinion. It's hard to tell because it has been sitting in water for however many couple hundred years. But this is the hinge, and it is fragile. You can see that this is going to bust right off. This is the hinge to a ruler or a protractor, I suppose it could be also. But I'm pretty sure that this is like a wooden fold ruler hinge, given where we are. Has some extra significance. Yeah, generally, you know, the brand or patent dates or any of that stuff would have been on the wood. Although if it was on this, I don't know if we would still be able to read it anyways. But that's what it is, an old hinge to an old ruler or protractor. A craftsman's tool. Really awesome. Alright, well, I just found something that could potentially be exciting. And it could potentially be absolutely nothing. We have a little rectangular piece of brass here, and when it popped out, I noticed it does have a hole on the top. And I'm really hoping that there's going to be some text on this, whether it's a luggage tag or a worker tag. It is, yes, there is text. I can see it from the backside. It is brass, and as you could tell, kind of still down in this little wet area. So who knows what kind of condition this is going to be in. This is why I'm going very slow. There's some letters there for sure. This is a stamped brass tag. And what I find interesting, and we see this with coins too, it was in a machine that, you know, stamped the numbers into it. And something, I don't know if it's chemically or molecularly, changes in the brass when it's squished. And you can see that the patina is completely different where the numbers are. And we see this on coins too. Some of the details will be better than others, the ones that were hit harder. But that's cool. PCCO VX494. I don't know what that is. I found another tag similar to this, which was a railroad worker tag. Vermont wasn't exactly known for its railroads. Were quite hilly. I don't know, maybe a luggage tag. So cool how the letters are such contrast from the back. That's amazing. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna, I can't do any research out here. I don't have cell service, but once I get home, I'll hit the internet and see what I can find. So cool. I'm just taking a break, drinking some water, and I can't express how excited I am that today it's over 60 degrees because last week we had up here at the elevation that I'm at maybe 4 or 5 inches of snow, and I thought for sure the season was going to be done, which is early. Usually I can get out here metal detecting until almost January, but miraculously the weather changed. It's supposed to be 60 for like the next 2-3 weeks. So I'm going to try to get out here as much as I can, although I mentioned earlier, next weekend is the first weekend of deer season, rifle season. So I'm going to try to find some permissions of big pieces of property like this where there's no hunting, which is hard to do. There is some snow kind of in some low-lying areas still, on the dark side of hills and trees, but luckily we've been able to stay out of that so far. Don't believe it. In all my years metal detecting, whenever I find pieces of clock, which is what this is, mantle clock, a little one, I never find the key, and I've found 2 now this year. This would have been obviously the winder for this old clock. It looks like it's missing a whole bunch of its gears. We find these plates, they're called movement plates, often enough, and sometimes they get misidentified as buckles, but you can see clearly their purpose when it's all together like this. The spring that's right here, which is what you wind when you wind a clock, is pretty deteriorated, but the rest of this brass is in really good shape. I might even try to get that spring cleaned up as best as possible and even be able to display this. The last one was too far gone, but I did get the key off. But that's very cool. An old clock. I suppose this would have been the front like this. Interesting shape. Maybe it was like this. I guess that would make sense. Very cool. All right, well, this is kind of a cool find. I'm not sure what it is, but it has a ton of silver gilt on there. Silver plating. The back does as well. It appears to be broken. Let me check the hole here. Oh. There's more of it. That appears to be all of it. I think so. Not sure. A little silver-plated, cross-hatched square of some kind. Maybe a little appointment to a piece of furniture or a clock. Not sure, but it's pretty cool. That'll be an impossible one to identify, but it's too bad it's broken. Cool, whatever it is. Well, I got a pretty good target, and I dug it up, and it was a coin, but I didn't show the camera because it is just a Lincoln wheat penny. I can't make out the date, and this could be period dropped by an inhabitant of this place, because these things go all the way back to 1909. But I put it in my bag, and I just double check my hole, and there's still more targets down here, so maybe there'll be something older, maybe there'll be something silver. Don't know until we dig them up, so. Yeah, there is another one. Looks like it's probably, it's another wheat penny. Okay, let's check if there's any more. Alright, well, that was it. A little bit anticlimactic, but we did get 2 old pennies. Not as old as I would have liked. Would have liked them to be this big, but not going to complain. Alright, let's see if we can find something a little bit older. All right, well, after those wheat pennies, I actually found 2 more. I have 4 wheat pennies now. They're all in the same area. I was confident there had to be older coins here because many of the things I found were older than wheat pennies. And I think I found what I was looking for. I think that this is probably an old large cent. Yeah, I can see the bust on it already. But before we look at that, I just want to kind of point out where I am. This is actually a trail that the landowner uses to get around his property. And as I stuck my shovel in, it was hard as a rock. It's very compacted here. And I'm wondering if this was the old road. I couldn't really figure out where that was, but apparently this was it. So whether this came from this home or whether this was dropped by a traveler, I don't know, but this looks like it's in amazing shape. You'll have to excuse the airplane above my head. It sounds like he's doing tricks up there or something. There it is, 1825. This side is in great shape. This side may or may not be, but that's what it is, 1825 U.S. large cent, probably 100 years older than those wheat pennies I found earlier. It's actually a little bit earlier than the history we had on this place, but again, we are in this old road, so this is a great, great end to the day. Makes all the walking worth it. I'm going to double check my hole, make sure there's not 3 more of them down there, like the wheat pennies, but I don't suspect there is. All right, folks, that is going to be it for me today. The sun is setting earlier and earlier every day, and we're beyond the time change now, so I've got to get out of the woods before it gets dark. But it was a fun day. Bunch of things I've never found before, old coins, some things I have found before, but there wasn't a ton of junk or iron in the ground, which made for an easy day of metal detecting. Got everything out here on an old log. Let's take a look at it all. All right, so let's see, starting from the back, we have our bell, probably a sleigh bell. The clock, I did get a bridle rosette, which I didn't show. It's iron filled in the back. This was on a bridle, not a wedding, but a horse harness, you know, like a bridle for a horse. Our tag, which I have no idea, you know, it's something Co, PC Co. Parasol slider, lamp part, ruler, or possibly protractor hinge. I really only found one kind of normal, you know, smooth flat button other than our UTC. You know, I don't know. The letters look 1900s, but could be wrong. Little suspender. I did get this spoon, which I didn't show. It does say silver plate on the back. I did find a couple pieces of harmonica reed. This I didn't show. I still don't know what it is. It almost looks like a hair tie, but don't think that's what it is. And then last but not least, the coins. I got 4 wheat pennies all in the same spot. And then we have the actually pretty beautiful 1825 U.S. large cent in great shape. Oh, and this thing. I have no idea. It was important enough to be silver plated, but what it is, I have no idea. All right, folks, thanks again for watching. I am very optimistic that next week we'll be out here again with no snow. But, you know, even if there is snow, we'll just make the best of it and see what treasures we can find up here in the mountains of Vermont. Thanks again. See you next time.